Hey there gardeners, Chris here from Steading, and I wanted to talk to you about a pest that I have just discovered all over my Tamarillo that are actually, by the looks of it, being helped along by the ants, which are paying quite close attention to them, and which could cause disaster for my Tamarillo. And what are we talking about here? We're talking about those little white, pillowy, kind of fluffy looking little creatures, the mealybug. And if you've had a real bad infestation, which is what I seem to have here, you will know that they can cause quite a bit of damage. And I believe it's kind of yellowing in the leaves drop off. They're not good for your plant at all. The ants themselves don't tend to normally be so much of an issue. It's everything that comes with the ants, because the ants farm aphids. They certainly like bringing a lot of other pests with them. And so if you're seeing heaps of ants, it's a good sign that something else is wrong. It also looks like there might actually be a whole heap of aphid eggs, perhaps, on the back of one of these leaves here. There's just something that I kind of turned one of the leaves over and went, wow, there's like 100 ants here, which have since moved on because I disturbed them. But there are all of these little eggy kind of things on the underside of the leaf. So what I'm basically doing here today as a solution for this problem is I'm squashing the mealybugs with my fingers against the leaves, just to kill as many of them as I can to stop that infestation from getting out of control. And now I'll need to keep a closer eye on this. So I don't need to get the chemicals out. I have seen people kind of recommend you can just wipe them off or even wash them off with water. We're starting to get quite strict on water unless we get lots and lots of rainflow. So I'm not gonna spray these off the plant. If anything, I'd rather water all the plants to get them a little bit healthier. But this is something that I'm gonna have to address really, really quickly. But like I said, you don't need chemicals. You can just squash them. If you're a little bit squeamish about that, put some gloves on. I don't think it's too much of an issue here. I will say, I kind of don't always bother with the with the gloves, because for removing sapsuckers, another thing the ants bring in, you can just kind of squash them. As long as you're careful with the ants, you probably won't get bitten, but they can be quite nasty. They're the little black ants. But I was actually holding one of the leaves and a spider had a bit of a go at me because it didn't like me being there. Only a really small little spider, but maybe gloves are a safer choice. But all of that aside, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill as many of these mealybugs as I can. It's going to be a mealybug murder. And then I'm going to go and chuck my companion plants, which is what I was over here doing, into my blueberry garden bed, because I was so embarrassed last time I kind of covered this and gave a bit of a progress update on my other blueberry companions. I just realized how bad a job I've done on this garden bed, and it's time to fix that. But for now, pest control. We've got an old leaf here that actually you can see some on it, so we'll move that well out of the way. I think we've done a pretty decent job in getting a lot of these off on some of the leaves, but it pays to be thorough. And the one over here, the leaf is not looking good at all, and I think it's because there's a real infestation of these right up. Right up where the stem kind of connects to the leaf, which obviously they're doing their evil pest ways. And that's not ideal. So I do have the guts of many an insect on my hands right now. Not the coolest thing. However, we've hopefully got that pest issue under control, which is really important. And I guess one of the things I'm realizing is we've put in maybe 20, can't be 30 yet, fruit trees, maybe 30, maybe 25. Anyway, I should count that up. But we've put in a lot of fruit trees, and obviously one of the easiest ways of dealing with things is manually, but that does actually require that you go out and check your trees pretty regularly, and I have noticed quite a lot of issues. So I'll probably eventually do like a big combined video of all the pests, but for now it's just going to be them as I find them, to give you a bit of an idea of what to look out for. Because yeah, it can get pretty catastrophic pretty quickly, and while I don't like to use chemicals, sometimes that is the last result. Or we can use something that's like kind of semi-natural, like pyrethrin or something like that, I think that's the name, where it's, a natural extract, but it's still not the best thing to be spraying around, because say for instance it will be killing all your beneficial bugs as well as the not so beneficial ones, which is not what we want. We don't have enough beneficial, we've got plenty of the bad ones.